Today's video, I'm gonna give you one tip that's instantly gonna make you aim better on target. No matter where you're at with your form, how your bow is set up, if you're a new archer or an experienced and seasoned archer. Before we get into the number one tip in this video, I wanted to go over something that's also very important and widely overlooked, and that is our peep height. A lot of people don't put into account how much this can hurt your aim, hurt your shot execution, or help you. So really quickly today, I want to go over setting our peep height, a couple options for you that will make it a lot simpler and just make everything a little bit easier for you throughout the whole process. The main thing that we want to do is make sure that we're not adapting to wherever the peep is set currently. So when we're drawing the bow back, we want to do that with our eyes closed. We want to make sure that our body is staying in a good location with our form, anchor in and not look through the peep until we're comfortably anchored wherever that hand naturally wants to sit on the face and the height of it on the jaw, whatever your anchor points may be. Once that is achieved, open your eyes and see where you're at. If the peep is not in the correct location to your scope housing where everything is haloing and looking really good for you, then that's a clear indicator to adjust the peep height. Put the bow in the press, adjust everything on this peep height, repeat this drill until you can draw back, open your eyes, and the peep and the scope and everything are lined up for you. Now, another way that you can do this, especially for my target shooters that are going into indoor season, having the natural location of where that peep height needs to be based on a comfortable anchor position is super easy when we're only shooting one distance like we will at 20 yards or 18 meters indoors. Another way that you can do this is take the peep out of the bow entirely. So if you have a single solid color string, mark the center of that string with serving material or whatever it may be, just slide it through the middle so it doesn't fall out. But then shoot the bow at 20 yards. Get yourself sighted in, be relatively close to the center of the targets as you're shooting them, left, right, up and down, and then really focus on the height, the up and down, and trying to get that as close to perfect as you can without the peep sight altogether. What you will find is that if our hand is a little higher or a little lower on the face, one, we will naturally be able to get there a little easier, but two, the way that we're pulling through the shot and what we see on our aim down range and where the arrows go when we're pulling through the shot, or even if we mess up the shot, will be affected. So some people need a little bit higher anchor point on their face. Some people need a lower anchor point on their face. That is something you need to figure out. You can do that very easily by this drill with not having the peep sight in the bow. Once you have found out exactly where your anchor point needs to be, you're consistently hitting around the middle and making good group sizes on the target without the peep sight, put the peep in and adjust it to where essentially what we did in the first drill, where we're drawing back, eyes closed, getting into that comfortable anchor position, getting everything on there, but then go to the target at 20 yards, and if you're not hitting in the middle, adjust the peep height again. So say we go to 20 yards and we're anchoring, we're shooting, and everything is hitting high, then that is telling us that we have our peep height set too high up on the string compared to what we were naturally doing our best with before. So we want to lower that back down so it raises our anchor point up just a little bit. Same thing goes if we're hitting too low on the target. We want to lower that peep height down, and we want to be able to, we want to raise that peep height back up. The peep height is too low. We want to be able to lower our anchor point down just a little bit more. So that'll help us whenever we're fine-tuning exactly where we need the peep height to be at our most comfortable position to also be as accurate as possible. In this week's members video, we're gonna take the peep height setting a step further. If you're shooting multiple distances, I wanna give you two different ways to set your peep height and to be able to comfortably get a short distance and a long distance with your setup without having to float your hand or make your anchor feel really funny. If you're not a member of this channel and you would like to see these extra videos, the extra content, down below in the description is a join link that you can see the different packages. You can also press join underneath the subject of this video as well, and that'll be able to take you to that same page. Next week's video, we're going to put the bow in the drawboard and in our bow press and I'm gonna help you find out how to adjust your draw length in between module sizes. So if you're in between 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch increments or whatever that may be, and you want the bow to feel a certain way, or maybe you just don't know what will happen to the bow if we adjust a cable versus your string, or put twists in, take twists out, I'm gonna help you mold all of that together to where you can have the bow hold and react the way that you want it to and get it to the draw length that you need it to be at. So that'll be a really good one. That's gonna be the finale for our draw length series. Second tip today, this is the one that I talked about at the first of the video. This is the one thing that will help you no matter where you're at. So this is a great one. It's super simplistic, but tons of people overlook this and they don't understand the biomechanics of how this works and actually what it will do for you. Everybody is very familiar with what we do with our bow shoulder, how we want it to be in socket, in the joint, in a natural location where we're raising the arm up, and how we adjust the draw length of the bow to fit this shoulder. But our rear shoulder is equally important and actually helps us with what we see during shot execution, the leverage over the system, how steady our sight pin is, especially while we actually work through whatever method you're using to fire the release. So that D loop that we have on the bow controls this rear shoulder, and we want it to be in a natural back location in the joint and stable, just like our front shoulder. And we do that by how we draw the bow and the length of the D loop. So we'll start with how we draw the bow. Drawing the bow back, we want the elbow on our release arm to be higher. We don't want it to be low and below our wrist. We really don't even want it to be level with the wrist, because as we're drawing, if we're level like that, we are actually not allowing the shoulder joint to seat itself in place, just like how we would raise the bow arm slightly up where the hand is just a little above the shoulder. That helps set that shoulder. We want to raise the elbow up where it's slightly above our release hand as we draw the bow back. That shifts the muscles that we're using to our back, so it's a larger muscle group, but it also allows the shoulder joint to seat itself in place and keep itself in the correct location. So as we get back into anchor, that elbow is adjusting on the height based off our loop length and the leverage we need, but the shoulder never changes. The shoulder stays in this location, and we can keep it back, and we can keep our shoulders in an open location. And when I say open location, I mean our rear shoulder is not creeping in and it's getting inside the bowstring, or our elbow is actually coming back around. We don't want to have that happen. We don't want to see the arm and the shoulder do that either, because as we're doing that, we'll constantly be fighting to hold the bow back while it's trying to pull us forward. It's going to use unnecessary muscles, and you're going to see that directly impact our sight picture. The height of that elbow, if you see somebody really high on the elbow or low on the elbow or level on the elbow, is going to be controlled by a couple different things. One of it is just the makeup of the lengths of different parts of our arm, shoulders, body, things that we need. The other one is the amount of leverage that we need over the bow and the system while we work through our shot execution. If you pull harder into the back wall, you'll need a lower elbow height. If you don't pull as hard on the back wall, you will need a higher elbow height within reason. You can get too high on this elbow and it'll actually fight you. You'll constantly be pulling up on the D loop. You'll see your aim dipping down. You'll have a lot of problems like that. So we want to make sure that we're finding that balance. And when I work with people in my coaching program, this is a big portion of it, where we match and adapt the length based on your shot execution. I even go a step further and we look at where we need to be at our steadiest. Some people, based on your method of shooting a release, need to see that steadier sight picture on the front end of our execution at anchor. Some people, based off of your style of execution, need it more to the middle and the back end of what we're doing with execution. And then even after that, if you're dealing with some aiming anticipations or things of that nature, you may also need that shifted in one direction or the other. And that is all stuff that I work with my archery people that I'm coaching and going through this on to be able to find that perfect length. But that is something that you can adjust and play around with and see what you need to have. And I will tell you that even going 1/8 and 1/16 of an inch longer or shorter on a D-loop can have a ton of impact on what we see downrange. But if you are, say, 1/2 inch off or 1/4 inch off, that will be a massive difference, especially with what we feel in our shoulders. So that is something that we need to take into consideration, engage the correct muscles, use all that info correctly for you to be able to hold the bow better at full draw. If you like this video, make sure that you are liking down below, sharing this with other people that you think will help them. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. There is over 100 Tuesdays Tip of the Weeks. There's multiple other video segments that I've done over the years, and there's a lot of information on this channel, all designed to be able to help you be a better archer. So I appreciate everybody's support in watching these videos. I'll see y'all soon.